jag måste bara säga det här, för det är så här, en sån grej man måste säga så att det släpper. Jag var jättenervös innan jag skulle komma hit, för jag tycker att det här är så spännande. Men så bara tittar jag här och så tänker jag, ja, de är inte fler än vad medlemmarna i min familj är liksom. Jag känner mig hemma. Det är bra. Schysst alltså. Alltså det är så här. Ni ser alla de som var på scenen precis var ju män, fantastiskt duktiga och talangfulla. Och så är det ju så här att det är man ganska van att se, eller hur? Och därför blir man så här extra lycklig när det kommer en riktigt cool tjej. Och det är därför jag liksom är lite så här spänd, för att det är som en sån enorm ära som jag ska presentera nästa akt. Det är en poet. Hon heter Sofia Baig. Och hon är uppväxt i Kanada. Lite så spännande familjekonstellation. Pakistansk far, spansk-kinesisk mor. Och när hon var ung så vaknade hennes intresse för poesi. Och det har hängt med, men jag tror inte hon fattade riktigt då vad den här poesin skulle börja betyda liksom, för både henne själv och andra som hon läst upp för. Och idag är hon 21 år och hon har släppt en skiva. Hon har släppt en skiva och hon har turnerat liksom på massor av ställen i USA, i Kanada och i Europa, men aldrig i Sverige. Så det här är alltså första gången, och i Göteborg också. Välkommen ut. Jag applåderar så. Welcome out, Sofia Baig!
They say I'm a terror terrorist. Is that what you see? See, is that what runs through your head every time you look at me? See, I never asked to be the enemy, but I guess that I am. And since half of the world perceives it, well, I guess that I'm damned. And left to my own devices, I'll marry an oppressive man, you know, big beard, thick accent. My prospects have all been recruited to the Taliban. And supposedly my father never allows me to be independent. So I've got chains hanging from my feet and hands, a life of servitude, a typical daughter of the sand, a constant victim of a backhand. And supposedly my mother never looks into the eyes of my father out of fear of her husband's wrath. See, eyes constantly on the ground in my household, shoot. We're not allowed to laugh. And supposedly my brother keeps one hand on my mouth and one on his belt. I'm not allowed to speak or move, and the emotion joy I've never felt. And see, ignorance is the source for all this falsehood. Thinking that I'm a slave to all the men in my life because I chose to be under the hood, and for this, I'm the source for all your spite. And see, you dictate my life as if you're the one living it. Cursing our fathers, brothers, sons in this battle, you want us to forfeit. And see, forfeit our dean, portraying us as fiends, thinking that I'm illiterate because my hair is not visible, it cannot be seen. And you feed the society lies about my people. See, deaf, dumb, and blind, that's what you'd like to hear. Amazed at the fact that I can rhyme and look at the men in my life with love and not fear. See, bombarding us with images of oppressed women, not realizing that most of us are educated, strong, not bedridden. You know, baby making, nervous shaking, victims of bone breaking. Is that what you want me to be? See, is that what your purpose is when you broadcast us Muslims on TV? And see, a seeker of pity, that I am not. So I ask you politely, please stop. Stop misinforming humanity about who and what I am, because a strong Muslim female is someone to be respected, not damned. And see, I am neither a shadow nor an accessory. I'm filled with intelligence, depth, and taqwa, what I call spiritual luxuries. See, I am not a second-class citizen compared to men. See, I am not and will not be the Barbie to your Ken. And my place is not on the floor in the kitchen next to the scorching stove. It's next to my future husband while we work together, seeking comfort in one another, growing old. My strength is not easily sold, and I will never fold. I inherited my parents' heart of gold. And see, terrorist, is that what you'd like to see? Or is it a girl who's oppressed? Either way, your words don't seem to intimidate me. So whether it's speaking from my heart or expressing my emotions into rhymes, I will never be a slave to your propaganda. So to you, your ways, and to me, mine. Thank you.
At first, with my poetry,
when I first started writing poetry, it was more for self-expression for myself. It was more of like a therapeutic kind of tool that I used to deal with stress or deal with my frustrations. But then later on, when you get past that, when I got past that, I started looking at my poetry as a whole and trying to, and seeing it as, you know, people can relate to this. People from all different kinds of walks of life, from all different religions and different backgrounds. And so for me, when I look at my poetry now, what I want to do with it is basically break down the barriers and kind of build bridges amongst people, and also to dispel any type of ignorance that there might be out in the world, you know. And it's not about, you know, it is about, you know, dispelling ignorance about stereotypes against Muslims, but it's also stereotypes against women, stereotypes against men, stereotypes against anyone. And so what I see it as is more of like a humanistic approach, where I want to just kind of build bridges and make people feel as if, you know, they're closer to each other than they might think.
Can I breathe as God made me? And see, I choke on these words with no period, end of sentence. This lifelong sentence, imprisoned since the first day of birth, and this breath has been taken. Put a price on my worth. This earth spinning so fast, and I am growing up too fast. See, I'm an empty shell behind this made-up and manufactured mask. See, programmed to not knowing who I am. And see, who I am has become, what am I? See, as you grow older, you begin to realize that we've been sitting wide-eyed on the laps of men as they dictate definitions of different types of women. See, dehumanize and depersonalize, categorize you to fit into their lives. But it's two-sided. Why? Because we conform to their lies, masquerading as if it's all fine. And see, I choke on these words with no period, end of sentence. My present disorder, my emotions tied up with a bow wrapped up like a present, see, packaged by the hands of others and ripped open by the hands of others. And see, my present disorder, there is no I in my life but a why, question mark, my life, question, who am I? And see, who I am has become, what am I? As you grow older, you begin to realize how infantile the minds of grown individuals can be. See, it's not love, but ignorance of it that we're getting in reciprocity. You know, giving the world a lap dance just to get their illusionary jewelry. See, temporary pleasures in exchange for the treasure of innocence. And why is it that my truth is received by resentment? And see, I choke on these words with no period, end of sentence. This world void of repentance, where my sins define me and my truth hides from me, disguised by empty bliss, caused by the obscurity of idolatry, see, hidden between who I am and who I ought to be. And who I am has become, what am I? My validation does not reside in the hands of men, the ones who analyze a relationship based on aggression. See, the deceptions of men that manipulate a situation to have you conform to their frustration, then distort holy scriptures for self-defense. My validation does not reside in the hands of those who keep me from my truth, the ones who see profit in my youth, the ones who take my weakness as their tribute. And see, my validation does not reside in the hands of those who take my God-given beauty, the ones who exploit it until they find another definition for what's ugly. See, the ones who take away the mirrors and give you an image of who you should be. And see, I choke on these words with no period, end of sentence. This lifelong sentence of who I am and who I ought to be. See, there is no what to my being. Rather, I am who I choose to be. Now can I breathe as God made me.
Thank you. Thank you.